So this is going to be my first ever guitar lesson, and I'm going to turn off that online metronome thing. Have never done a guitar lesson before. I'm not a guitar teacher. I'm not a super good guitar player. I'm like a closet guitar player. Hardly anybody even knows that I play guitar. In high school, I used to play like heavy metal with my buddies, and and now I just play a little bit of acoustic. I love Lindsey Buckingham and finger picking and stuff. And I always really liked this Yoshi's Woolly World song. Sometimes I would leave it just playing over and over on my Wii U because it was so awesome just on loop. So I went online and looked for the tab for it, and there's no tablature for it anywhere. It was kind of weird. So finally, these guys actually did a cover of the song, and they're a couple of kids, or they're not kids, they're guys, but they go by what are they called? They're called like Kill the Cake or something. Evil Cake Productions. That's it. And they make really good original music, but they covered the song. And actually, the author of the song, the guy that worked for Nintendo and wrote the song, commented on their video and said, "Thanks for covering my song," which was really cool too. So finally, when these guys covered it, I was able to see how to play it. And I think that they probably played it pretty much exactly right. They just figured it out. So all props go to them. But still, there was no tablature and no lesson. So I'm going to do a super simple lesson on the song. And my lesson is not going to be notes and chord style. I'm not going to say play a B ninth, a sane seventh. I'm going to talk about strings and frets, and that's it. So this is the simple version. The other thing is that as these guys figured out, and they're probably right, I think that the tuning is like a G tuning. It's where you would tune your E, or your E, I think, down to D, and then your A down to G, and then your E, your high E down to D also, I believe. I am playing with traditional tuning, so I'm not detuning my guitar at all. So what that means is I don't have the bass note in there. So when you're playing the main, they would be playing this open A, which would actually be G. So it'd be like or G like this. So it's got that rich bass note in there, whatever. I'm only playing largely on, I don't think I ever hit the A string. I'm only playing on D, G, B. That's it. And occasionally E, and my fingering is going to be a little bit different than theirs is because of their different tuning. But anyway, here we go. Super simple. You're starting on D, G, B, open, and you're just playing the D and B string, open. And then you're going to pick down D, G, B. So it's... And then you're going to go to the first shape, which is going to be D string second fret, B string first fret, and you're going to play just those two strings. It's like a little finger pick a pinch. And then you're going to pick down the same three strings, D, G, B. Like that. So those two things is... And in between them, actually, I should have said, you pick the D string one time. So it's really... And that just repeats like 4 times. And then it goes to this first little run, which is easy shapes, but it's kind of quick changes. So same shape all the way up to the 9th fret. So you're on 9th fret D string with your second finger, and then your index finger is on the B string on the 8th fret. And you're just doing the same pinch of those two strings. And then you slide the whole shape down a whole step, and actually then you're only on the 7th fret for both strings, the D and the B string. So 7th fret, and I actually put my ring finger down there, and you pinch the same two strings. Then you slide the same shape down another half a step, or a whole step, excuse me, to the 5th fret. Same thing, 5th fret D string, 5th fret B string. And then you slide down a half a step, and you're back to sort of the first eBay bid's going off. The first shape again. So then you're on D string 4th fret and B string 1st fret with your index finger. And right when you do that, then you do sort of that first strumming down the, in order, that finger picking down the D, G, B string. And then once you've done that, you go back to sort of the original sort of first shapes that we did. And you're back on the 2nd and 1st fret. And then you're going to take off just your 2nd finger, but leave your 1st finger on the B string and pick the same pinch of the same 2 strings, the D and the B string. And then since you've picked those, you can take your 1st finger off and just pick the same open again. So that whole thing is and you got to practice that over and over because it goes really fast, you know, in the song is. So once you've done that 2 times through, you've ended right where I just ended there, you go up to the next shape. And this is one that changes from the way that the Evil Cake guys play it. It's actually going to be, you're coming up to a shape that gets used quite often. This was the start of that run. So you come back up to the same spot where you started kind of your run, 9th fret on the D string and 8th fret on the B string. But I actually use my 2 middle fingers to do that to complete the whole shape. So then it's going to be, and then you're going to pick down onto the E string, but you have to get your index finger on the 7th fret. And then you're going to pick E string and B string. So that note is again these 2 here, 9 and 8, D and B, and then E on 7, and then back up to B6, or B8, excuse me, like that. Then you're going to slide that whole shape down a whole step and get your pinky onto the B string. And you pick the exact same pattern. So it's a pinch of the same strings we've been doing, which is the D and the B, and then to E, B. And then you just slide the whole thing down a whole step and do the same thing again. Slide back up a whole step and do the whole thing again. And then you slide up a whole step and do it again, but take your pinky off like the original one. So that whole thing is after you've finished your... Come down, switch to these middle fingers. Pinky on. Pinky on. Back up. And then lift up your pinky. Like that. So you're doing that shape a couple of times, and then you end on sort of this middle one. So the whole thing is... to probably the easiest part in the whole song. It's just your just barring D, G, B with your index finger, and you're picking the exact same pattern again. So you're picking D and G and then strumming down them, and it's like that. So it's slide up a whole step, same thing, barring the same 3 strings on the 7th fret. Then you go back to more of the original shape down on the 4th fret. So 2nd finger on the 4th fret on the D string, 1st finger on the 3rd fret on the B string. And the same pattern again, but you do it twice. So that whole thing, after this whole kind of strange pattern of the... After all of that, then you go into this easy shape. Back and do the whole thing again. 7. Back to 4 with the original shape. But This time you only play it once, you don't play it twice. And on the second one, you're going to go down to the 3rd fret, and you're on the 3rd fret with both fingers still on the D and the B strings. Same picking pattern, so it's pinch and then down the 3 string. And then the same picking pattern again, but you slide back down, back to the original shape that you've done many times. D2, B1. So that whole thing is, after you've done the slides with sort of this weird shape, is this 2 times. And so here we have this little run that's this. I should just tab that out, but basically it's going to be on the B string, 3rd fret with your pinky, then 1st fret with your pinky, then open. So it's, nope, it's not open, sorry, it's 3rd fret, starting again, it's the B string, 3rd fret with your pinky, 1st fret, and then up to the G string, so it's, and then after the G string, open, it's the D string, 2nd fret, and then D string, open. And then back down to GB pretty quick, and you're still on the 1st fret on the B string, so it's open G, B, 1st fret, so it's, and then back up to the open G string, and then back down you're kind of starting again, 3rd fret, B string, 1st fret B string, open G string, and then D string, 2nd fret. And then from there, you're sliding up to this shape. So that whole thing again, after you've done this run, is B string, G string, D string, D string open, and then G, B real quick, 1st finger on the 1st fret of the B string, and back up to G, B string 3rd fret, B string 1st fret, open G, 2nd fret, D string, and then all the way up to the shape up here that we've done many times, 9th fret, D string, 8th fret, B string, like that. And once you've done that, it's 2 little harmonics, one on the 12th fret, oops, 12th fret, and then one on the, so it's a 12th fret B string and 9th fret G string. So that whole thing is. And I think that the first time, maybe you don't play the 2 notes first before doing the harmonics, but the second time you do, so it'd be like this. So it's like that. So again, after the little run up here, you're up to the 9th fret and the 8th fret, same shape. Harmonics. And then back to the easiest shape, the barred 5th fret. Barred 7th fret. Harmonics again. Whoops. Same thing. And so once you've done those 2, then you have another sort of complex little shape. You're doing like a slide on the B string from 8 to 10, and it's, so you're going to play that, the thing that you hear in the song. Basically, we're going to be going like this. Right? That part, piece. But you're playing a couple of little bass notes also. So when we do this little slide, it's also, you're going to play the open G the first time you hit on the 8th fret, and you start off with your pinky finger because you're going to be using your other fingers in the other shape. So it's G and B, and then the slide, but you're just hitting the B string. come down to the 7th fret, and you're going to play D7 and B7, pinky and first finger, and you or pinky and third finger, and then you have your first finger on the 5th fret on the B string because you're going to lift up your pinky, so it's see that? And then same shape down a whole step. And then same shape down a whole step again, but this time you're doing sort of the original picking pattern with the pinch and then the strum of the 3 strings. Like that. So that whole thing again is slide with G and B. And then back to the original shape that we've done many times, D2, B1, pinch, and then play them all down. Slide it up a whole step and do the same thing again. And then it's just 5th fret, D and G, and then that harmonic that you did on the 7th fret on the G string. And repeat.